Walk into any motorcycle warehouse right now, and you will see something that should terrify every rider in America. 12 million motorcycles are sitting in storage facilities, gathering dust, with dealers paying $2,000 per month just to keep them there. Inventory costs have exploded so catastrophically that these same bikes are now being sold for literal pennies on the dollar. While you were planning your next ride, the entire motorcycle industry quietly collapsed. Dealers who used to fight for inventory are now drowning in it. The bikes that commanded $25,000 last year are selling at auction for $3,000. In this video, I will show you the real numbers behind this inventory apocalypse, why your bike is worth 70% less than you think, and which manufacturers are about to face bankruptcy. Stay until the end, because the final revelation about what is really driving this collapse will change how you see the motorcycle market forever. Number 12. Dealerships are quietly flooded with unsold bikes. What you see in dealership showrooms is just the tip of the iceberg. Behind the scenes, major distributors are suffocating under 8 to 11 months of excess inventory, while customer foot traffic has virtually disappeared. The result is ghost town dealerships across America, with rows of shiny motorcycles that nobody is buying. The financial strain is crushing. Floor plan financing, the loans dealers take to stock their showrooms, has created a death spiral of debt. Monthly carrying costs have tripled, from $800 to $2,400 per unit. Think about that. Each motorcycle sitting unsold is costing dealers an extra $1,600 every single month compared to pre-pandemic levels. This has forced dealers into desperate price slashing just to keep the lights on. The 2023 to 2024 period has become what industry insiders call the liquidation massacre. Smaller dealerships have been dumping entire model year lineups at 40 to 60% discounts. Some have chosen to close permanently, rather than face the inevitable bankruptcy that looms if they continue operating under these conditions. Storage has become its own crisis. Regional warehouses report 300% capacity overruns, with bikes now stacked in outdoor lots because indoor space is completely exhausted. The protective covers cannot hide the truth. These are depreciating assets sitting in the elements because there is literally nowhere else to put them. The survival statistics are grim. Industry analysts predict that without immediate inventory relief, 30% of independent dealers will not make it through 2025. That is 1/3 of motorcycle dealerships in America gone. Number 11. Asia's oversupply shockwaves hit the global market. The roots of this crisis stretch across oceans to manufacturing hubs in Thailand, India, and China, where production madness has created an unstoppable inventory tsunami. These facilities ramped up to levels that outpaced actual consumer demand by 400%. The math simply does not add up. 4 times as many motorcycles are being manufactured as there are riders willing to buy them. This has created an export dump crisis of epic proportions. Batches originally destined for European and North American markets are being offloaded at 50 to 70% discounts, destroying global pricing structures. When new bikes from Asian factories sell for half their intended price, it creates a ripple effect that devastates every level of the market. The used market has been hit particularly hard. Analyst reports show these inventory dumps are artificially deflating used bike values by creating direct competition between heavily discounted new models and secondhand sales. Why buy used when new costs the same or less? The supply chain reveals another disturbing reality: container ship graveyards. Shipping companies report motorcycles sitting in containers for months because dealers are refusing delivery of inventory they simply cannot afford to store. Some containers are being returned to their origin points without ever being unloaded. Currency manipulation has made the situation even worse. Asian manufacturers are leveraging favorable exchange rates to flood markets with below-cost motorcycles, making competition impossible for domestic brands that cannot match these artificially suppressed prices. The Big Four Japanese manufacturers, Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, and Kawasaki, are facing their own inventory nightmare. Dealers accumulated massive unsold stock after aggressive ordering based on wildly optimistic demand projections. Now they are sitting on 18+ months of inventory with no end in sight. This has led to unprecedented manufacturer rebates. Companies are offering $3,000 to $5,000 in discounts on models that never needed incentives before. These are not just sales tactics, they are desperate attempts to keep distribution channels moving and prevent complete market collapse. Perhaps the most telling sign of market dysfunction is the new versus used price inversion. Sport bike models are now retailing below used pricing from 2023, creating market confusion and destroying resale values across the board. In a healthy market, new always costs more than used. When that fundamental rule breaks, something is seriously wrong. The tension between manufacturers and dealers has reached a breaking point. Franchise agreements are being terminated as dealers refuse to accept more inventory they cannot sell or afford to store. These are not small independent shops. These are major dealerships that have represented Japanese brands for decades. Quality reputation is at risk. Rushed production to meet false demand has created quality control issues, further damaging brand trust and sales momentum. When manufacturers prioritize quantity over quality, the consequences can linger for years in consumer perception. Number 9. Electric motorcycle buzz fizzles as inventory builds. The electric revolution that was supposed to transform motorcycling has instead transformed into warehouses full of unsold electric bikes. After the early adoption phase ended, electric two-wheeler sales collapsed by 60%, leaving manufacturers with massive inventory backlogs of high-tech machines nobody wants. Riders are abandoning electric motorcycles and returning to gas-powered simplicity due to 3 persistent problems: range anxiety, charging infrastructure gaps, and maintenance complexity. The promised future of electric riding has failed to materialize, while the drawbacks remain as significant as ever. In desperation, brands are pivoting to fleet sales, offering electric motorcycles to rental companies and delivery services at massive discounts just to clear inventory. This short-term solution is destroying the retail pricing structure, making it impossible to sell the same models to individual consumers at full price. Battery technology. Obsolescence has become another critical issue. Rapid improvements in battery technology are making current inventory instantly outdated. Manufacturers face an impossible choice: hold inventory that becomes more worthless with each passing day, or sell at losses rather than risk complete write-offs later. The infrastructure investment that was supposed to support the electric motorcycle revolution has simply failed to materialize. Charging networks have not expanded as promised, making electric motorcycles impractical for most riders and killing consumer demand. Without reliable places to charge, the range limitations become insurmountable obstacles. European premium manufacturers like BMW, Ducati, and Triumph are experiencing their own version of inventory hell. Premium dealers report aging cycles of 12 to 18 months for mid-tier models that used to sell within 60 days, creating massive carrying cost burdens that eat into already thin profit margins. The luxury buyer has disappeared amid financing stress. High interest rates and economic uncertainty are hitting the premium segment hardest, with wealthy buyers delaying purchases or buying used instead. The psychology of luxury purchasing has shifted fundamentally. Even those who can afford premium motorcycles are choosing to wait. The result has been multi-thousand euro discounts across European markets. Unprecedented reductions of 5,000 to 8,000 euros on showroom bikes are destroying brand prestige and dealer profitability. When exclusivity meets desperation, prestige brands suffer lasting damage. This leads directly to prestige brand devaluation. Premium motorcycles lose their exclusivity appeal when available at massive discounts. The entire business model of European premium brands relies on perceived value and exclusivity, both of which collapse when fire sale pricing becomes the norm. To survive, dealers are shifting focus from sales to service revenue as new bike sales collapse. This represents a fundamental change in business models, with some European dealers reporting that service department income now exceeds new bike sales for the first time in their history. Number 7. Used bike prices are collapsing faster than expected. The used motorcycle market is experiencing its own apocalypse, as private sellers find themselves competing directly with desperate dealers who are offering new bikes at used prices. This has created impossible market conditions, where used motorcycle values are in freefall. Trade-in value destruction has reached critical levels. Mid-range bike trade-ins are dropping 40 to 50% in value across recent seasons, leaving owners underwater on loans and unable to upgrade. A bike purchased 2 years ago might now be worth less than half the outstanding loan balance. Pandemic buyers are experiencing particularly severe resale shock. Riders who bought during the COVID boom are now facing 60 to 70% value losses when trying to sell. What seemed like a reasonable purchase during lockdown has created financial devastation for thousands of motorcycle enthusiasts. Wholesale auctions have become bloodbaths, where new bikes sometimes sell below used market prices, completely destroying traditional pricing structures. Auction floors that once buzzed with competitive bidding now see bikes sold at minimum bids or below, and some lots fail to sell at any price. The financing default tsunami has begun. Underwater loans are leading to massive repossessions, flooding the used market with bank-owned inventory sold at any price. Financial institutions do not want to store motorcycles. They want them converted to cash immediately, regardless of market impact. The adventure bike segment, once the industry's golden child, is facing its own collapse. Market oversaturation has created buyer confusion and inventory stagnation as nearly identical adventure bikes from every manufacturer crowd showroom floors. When every brand offers essentially the same product, none stands out as special. Buyers are pivoting to smaller displacement, more practical dual sports, leaving expensive adventure bikes sitting unsold on dealer floors. The reality of adventure riding has collided with the fantasy sold in marketing materials. Most riders do not need $20,000 motorcycles capable of crossing the Sahara. Dealer desperation has reached new heights with accessory bundle giveaways. Dealers are throwing in from $2,000 to $3,000 luggage kits and tire packages just to move units, destroying profit margins completely. When the accessories are free, the already thin margins on these complex machines evaporate entirely. The Instagram adventure culture that drove much of the segment's growth is collapsing. As riders realize most adventure bikes never leave pavement, the social media-driven adventure trend is fading, reducing demand for expensive models that were purchased more for appearance than practical use. Finally, owners are discovering the true cost of maintaining complex adventure bikes, leading to rapid resale and market flooding. The sophisticated electronics, intricate cooling systems, and complicated valve adjustments create maintenance bills that many owners simply cannot justify for recreational vehicles. Number 5. Harley-Davidson's discount dilemma. The American icon is facing its own inventory crisis, with state-by-state numbers that should alarm every Harley enthusiast. Key markets like California, Texas, and Florida show dealer inventories 200% to 300% above projected levels for the quarter. Showroom floors designed to display 30 bikes now hold 90 or more. Early season incentive panic has set in, with price cuts and rebates appearing in January instead of during traditional fall clearance events. This indicates severe demand problems at the core of the business. The riding season has not even started, yet the discounts are already flowing. Brand prestige destruction looms as new Harleys become available at liquidation prices, undermining the premium image that took decades to build. When the ultimate symbol of American motorcycling freedom can be purchased at clearance prices, the exclusivity factor that justified premium pricing disappears. The demographic aging crisis continues unabated. Harley-Davidson's core customer base is aging out without younger replacement buyers, creating a long-term demand collapse that no amount of marketing can solve. The average Harley owner is now over 50, and the company has failed to connect with younger generations despite multiple attempts. Meanwhile, the electric Livewire division is burning cash with minimal sales, forcing resources away from traditional bike development. Harley-Davidson's ambitious electric motorcycle gambit is failing to gain traction, creating a financial drain on the company at precisely the wrong moment. Number 4. Chinese motorcycle brands swarm the global market. A low-cost model flood is transforming the market fundamentals. Dozens of Chinese manufacturers are undercutting traditional brands by 50 to 70%, making established pricing models impossible to maintain. When a comparable motorcycle is available for half the price, brand loyalty only goes so far. Legacy manufacturers face unprecedented margin pressure. They are forced to slash prices in production to compete with Chinese imports. This is destroying profitability across the industry, even for brands that once seemed invulnerable to market fluctuations. The quality versus value equation is shifting rapidly. Enthusiasts who were initially cautious about Chinese bikes are now converting because of undeniable value propositions. As quality improves and price differentials remain extreme, the acceleration of market share loss for established brands becomes inevitable. Distribution network disruption adds another layer of complexity. Chinese brands are bypassing traditional dealer networks through direct sales and online platforms, eliminating dealer markup and further pressuring prices. When consumers can buy directly from importers, the entire dealer-based sales model becomes questionable. Technology transfer acceleration means Chinese manufacturers are rapidly improving quality while maintaining cost advantages, making competition increasingly difficult for legacy brands. The quality gap is closing faster than expected, while the price gap remains as wide as ever. Number 3. Dealers turn to TikTok to unload inventory fast. The viral sales video explosion has become the new normal. Dealers are creating warehouse clearance content and live streaming sales events, with participation rates doubling as traditional marketing fails to bring customers in. The most successful dealers have become content creators almost overnight. Influencer marketing has become a survival strategy. The line between entertainment and dealership business operations has completely blurred, as dealers hire content creators to move inventory. Some salespeople now spend more time filming content than actually selling motorcycles to in-person customers. Social media platforms have become the battlegrounds for price wars, with TikTok and Instagram emerging as primary sales channels. Dealers compete through viral discount videos that reach millions of potential customers at minimal cost. The dealer with the most shocking price reduction gets the most views and potentially the most sales. This shift has accelerated the death of traditional advertising. Print, radio, and TV motorcycle advertising budgets have been redirected to social media as dealers chase younger demographics. Publications that relied on motorcycle dealer advertising are struggling to survive as marketing dollars migrate online. The balance between authenticity and desperation is becoming increasingly apparent. Viewers are beginning to recognize dealer desperation behind viral content, potentially damaging long-term brand credibility. When every video screams unprecedented discounts, consumers start to question why prices were so high to begin with. The interest rate reality check has arrived. Rising rates, from 3% to between 9 and 12%, are making motorcycle loans unaffordable for most buyers and killing discretionary purchase decisions. A payment that seemed manageable 2 years ago might now be 50% higher on the exact same motorcycle. This has created a cancellation and delay epidemic. Dealers report 40 to 50% increases in order cancellations and delivery delays as buyers face payment reality. Customers who ordered motorcycles months ago are walking away from deposits rather than committing to financing terms they can no longer afford. Manufacturers have reinstated low annual percentage rate promotion deals they eliminated years ago, sacrificing profit margins to rescue sales targets. 0% financing offers, absent during the pandemic boom, have returned with a vengeance as the only way to move inventory off showroom floors. Credit tightening has further impacted sales as banks reduce motorcycle loan approvals amid growing economic uncertainty. Entire customer segments have been eliminated from the market as financing companies raise credit score requirements and reduce loan-to-value ratios. Payment shock syndrome has become common, with buyers discovering true monthly costs including insurance and maintenance, leading to immediate buyer's remorse and returns. The sticker price is just the beginning. The total cost of motorcycle ownership has reached levels that many enthusiasts simply cannot justify. Number 1. The warehouse apocalypse. No one saw coming. The regional hub overflow crisis represents the ultimate market failure. Massive distribution centers are holding 6 to 12 months of unsellable inventory after freight backlogs created artificial demand signals. The algorithm-driven ordering systems that were supposed to optimize inventory instead created the largest glut in industry history. Below-cost auction desperation has become the new normal, with importers auctioning brand-new motorcycles for less than manufacturing cost just to recover storage fees and free up warehouse space. When storing a motorcycle costs more than its potential sale value, the financial calculation becomes brutally simple. What started as solving shipping delays transformed into the largest motorcycle inventory crisis in industry history. The supply chain fix became a glut crisis of unprecedented proportions, fundamentally altering the economics of motorcycle distribution for years to come. A storage cost death spiral has emerged as an existential threat. Combined industry storage costs now exceed $2 billion annually, with some companies spending more on warehousing than manufacturing. This unsustainable situation forces inventory liquidation regardless of market conditions or long-term strategic consequences. Industry consolidation has accelerated as smaller manufacturers and dealers face extinction. Only the largest companies can survive the inventory apocalypse, fundamentally reshaping the motorcycle industry forever. The diverse ecosystem of motorcycle brands and dealers that defined the industry for decades is rapidly contracting into a handful of surviving players. This is not just a market correction. This is the complete restructuring of how motorcycles are made, sold, and valued in America. The industry that promised endless growth built a house of cards that is now collapsing in real time. And if you own a bike, you are about to discover just how much this affects you. The motorcycle industry's inventory collapse isn't just about unsold bikes. It's a fundamental shift in how we value these machines. From Harley's premium struggles to Chinese brand invasions and the electric bike disappointment, we're witnessing the end of an era. This transformation forces us to question everything about motorcycle ownership. Why do we pay premium prices for brands now desperately slashing their own values? What happens to your bike's worth when manufacturers undercut the very value they created? The future belongs to those who understand this new reality. Do you agree this collapse was inevitable, or is something else driving it? Which iconic brand do you think falls next? Comment below with your predictions, and subscribe now, because our next investigation reveals which motorcycle company is secretly buying up failed dealerships, and why that changes everything for riders nationwide.